chances are, if you click into this video, you've already watched one of those basic how to build a deck guides that say stuff like add a win condition, add a building, add a spell, blah blah blah. And chances are again, you've tried that, got absolutely wrecked, and instantly switched back to whatever weird deck you're running now. But this isn't one of those videos. I'm not going to tell you the same add a win condition bullshit. Today, I'm showing you how to build a deck that actually synergizes, actually makes sense. It might even impress that one sweaty fan with 15k who thinks he's Supercell certified. Stick around until the end because I've got some pretty unique tips coming up. So first of all, we have to understand what actually makes a deck bad. Well, obviously a deck is bad if it doesn't have a win condition, spells, support and stuff, but ignoring the obvious, the real reason why most decks flop is because the synergy is bad. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a deck with everything you need on paper. You have a big spell, a small spell, win condition, support troops, and everything you're supposed to have in a deck. But this deck is absolutely bullshit. Why? Because the cards don't work together. Or in simpler terms, the synergy is bad. Deck building isn't like Lego. You don't just smash random components in. What I have here is a minor beatdown deck, which isn't a thing. Beatdown needs a big unit to build a push. Minor's a chip tool. He's meant for cycle or control. If you stick in a push, he's basically standing there and saying, hey guys, I did 68 damage, good luck taking the tower. So, some win conditions only function in very specific archetypes. Giant only belongs in beatdown, Minor's only used in control, and Hog Rider only belongs in cycle. If you mix them wrong, your whole deck collapses. Even if you have the win condition right, you can still end up with a deck that only looks good on paper. This time, this deck has a clear archetype, which is beatdown, and everything you need in the deck. But in reality, it's just as bad as one of those Clash Royale ad decks. This deck has decent but nowhere near competitive synergy, and in this deck, you really have no chance to break through an opponent that knows what he's doing, because you don't even have a half decent card to support your giant. What I mean is that certain cards are better than others for a specific role in the deck. In this deck, a card like Prince or Mini P.E.K.K.A. would be a way better mini tank than Valkyrie because they can apply offensive pressure. And Zappo arrows would work way better than Snowball because Zap can reset and arrows kill more stuff. So before putting a card in your deck, consider what it would actually do for the deck. Don't just slam a card in for the sake of filling the extra slot. The next question is, how are you winning? Like literally. How are you gonna win? What's your game plan? Are you building up a huge push? Are you chipping your opponents out? Are you counter pushing? If your answer is something like, I'm just gonna play and hope I win, or oh no, I'll see what happens, then you either don't understand how your deck works or your deck is just bad. This ties back to the giant deck example. When you actually ask yourself this question, you're gonna realize that a giant Valkyrie snowball push isn't going to work. Knowing your deck changes how you play. For example, if your way of winning is chip damage, you're gonna play slow and take every opportunity for value. If you're beat down, you're going to build up elixir leads and build pushes. Your playstyle has to match your deck's purpose. One last thing, how matchup dependent is your deck? What this basically means is that out of how many games you lose will you say, he had a hard counter or bad matchup? Every deck has bad matchups, that's perfectly normal. But if your deck gets completely cooked by half the meta, or just lacks components like air counters or storm control, that's a problem. Ideally, you don't want tons of dead matchups against cards or decks you see constantly, like Mega Knight or Firecracker in mid-ladder. A good deck has weaknesses, but not weaknesses that ruin every other game. And that's basically it. If you want decks that win you games instead of just looking good on paper, focus on synergy, purpose, and actually understanding your win path. But just before you click off, just pause for 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Not now, not the next video, just tap it now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps me so much. But anyways, thank you for watching and have a good one.